Hello, today we are going to be talking about ratios and really looking at the relationship between part-to-part ratios, such as 2 boys to 3 girls, and part-to-whole ratios, such as 3 girls out of 5 kids, and then using them to solve some proportions. Let's take a look at. Okay, so Ezra worked out the problem below. Read the problem and look at his ratio table. Alexia is making a necklace out of red and green beads. 2 out of every 5 beads are red. If there are 22 red beads on the necklace, how many green beads are there? Okay, and then we see his ratio. He wrote 2 to 3, and then 22, and then he used a multiplier to find 33. Okay, and he says if there are 22 red beads, then there will be 33 green beads. Ezra forgot to label his table. Write a title for each column of his table. Okay, so Alexia was making this necklace out of red and green beads. Where did he get the 2 from? Where did this 2 come from? Right here. Okay, so if we go back to the problem, we see the 2 right here, okay? And what is the 2 representing? We know? I know it must be the same thing as the 22, right? Because he put them in the same column. Okay, so if we go back to the problem, where's 22? It says if there are 22 red beads on the necklace. So what is this column representing? That's right, it is representing red beads. Okay, now let's look at the other numbers. We have 3 and 33. Where did the 3 come from? What is 3 describing? And what is 33 describing? Okay, we don't see the 33 in the problem, right? Because that's the answer. But if we look at his answer, we see that he has labeled his answer completely, right? It says, if there are 22 red beads, there will be 33 green beads. So he is saying that 33 is the number of green. And if we go back to the problem, in the question it says, if there are 22 red beads on the necklace, how many green beads are there? Right? So green is 33. Which means the 3 must also be green. Okay, but this gives us a question, right? What does the 3 represent? Because that's not in the problem. Nowhere in the problem does it say 3 green beads, right? So where did he get that from? We know it represents green, but how did he know that? Okay. If we go back to that original ratio that they gave us, it says that 2 out of every 5 beads are red. So we know that the 2 means red. What is the 5 representing? It's representing the total. And how do we know that? Because of these words right here, out of. 2 out of 5. So when we see that phrase out of, that means that the number afterwards is going to be the total. So we can picture it. If we have 5 beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 of them are red, and the rest are green, how many green does that leave? 3. Okay, so he had to figure out that there were 3 green beads. Okay, so he figured out 3 by subtracting 5 minus 2. Okay, so if we turn your paper over to the notes side, we are still looking at this same problem. So there's our little sketch there, and you can just label it red, red, and then we figured out the rest were green, green, green. Okay. So back in like first, second grade, you spent a lot of time doing addition and subtraction problems using a little graphic kind of like this, and we call it the part whole, right? So in this case, they are telling us that there are 2 red out of every 5 total beads. And so that means that the other part would have to be 3, right? Because the 2 parts together equal the whole. So here's how the problem would go if I was working it out. Alexia is making a necklace out of red and green beads. 2 out of every 5 beads are red. So I might say, okay, there are 2 red out of 5 total beads. If there are 22 red beads, oh, okay, 22 needs to go in the red column. How many green beads are there? Like what? Where did green come from? Now they're talking about green. That's a new category. So then I go back to that 2 and 5 and figure out, well, if there were 5 total and 2 of them were red, 3 of them would be green. Okay, and then I'm going to use my same strategies that I usually use, right? How do I get from 2 to 22? So that would be times 11, right? So then that's going to be 3 times 11, and the total number of beads would be times 11. So I would have 55 and 33. Okay, let's look at another example. A grocery store clerk put packages of flour tortillas and corn tortillas on a shelf. The ratio of the number of packages of corn tortillas to the total number of packages on the shelf was 7 to 16. Which number could be the number of packages of flour tortillas the clerk put on the shelf? Okay, and then on this problem, you really need, since it's asking which number could be, we need the answer choices, which I forgot to put on there when I was typing. So we can just write them in. Answer choice A is 23. Answer choice B is 14. Answer choice C is 18. And answer choice D is 32. Okay? All right, so let's go back and do our table. A grocery store clerk put packages of flour tortillas and corn tortillas on a shelf. The ratio of the number of packages of corn tortillas to the total number of packages on the shelf, so corn to total, was 7 to 16. So 7 corn to 16 total. Which number could be the number of packages of flour tortillas, so all of a sudden we're asking about flour tortillas, that the clerk put on the shelf? Okay, first we need to know what would be the number of flour tortillas in this original ratio. So if there are 16 packages and 7 of them are corn, how many are flour? Good, so there's 9. So 9 flour. Okay, so if we're looking for which of these could be a number that goes here, then we're looking for which of these is a multiple of 9, right? Can I multiply 9 and get 23? No. Can I multiply 9 and get 14? No. What about 18? Yes. So we can put 18 here because that would be times 2. Okay? Which means that there would be 14 corn and then 32 total packages. Okay? Let's look at the next one. The ratio of cars to trucks in the parking lot is 8 to 9. If there are 24 cars in the parking lot, how many total vehicles are there? So our original ratio, cars to trucks in the parking lot, is 8 to 9. So cars to trucks is 8 to 9. When we look at the question, it says if there are 24 cars in the parking lot, so 24 cars, how many total vehicles are there? So now we're talking about total vehicles. Okay, so we need to find the original total vehicles. So if we have 8 cars and 9 trucks, then I'm going to add those up, right, to get 17 total vehicles. Now I got to look for my multiplier. How do I get from 8 to 24? Times 3. And then 17 times 3 will be our answer. So I'm going to come over here on the side and say 17 times 3. And 3 plus 2, so 51. So 51 total vehicles. So 51 total. Okay. All right, so try the last one, and we'll go over the answer in just a moment.